Welcome to the Branding PR Podcast, where we dive deep into the stories and strategies of today's most impactful entrepreneurs, business leaders, and professionals. Whether you're building your brand, scaling your business, or just looking for inspiration, you're in the right place. Hello again, and welcome back to the Branding PR Podcast. I am your fabulous host, Brandy Sims, the founder of Branding PR. And today I actually have a special guest with me, Kelvin Abrams, who is a serial entrepreneur and author of Get Uncomfortable or Change Course. All right, I'm excited to talk to you, Kelvin. How are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Hey, well, I'm glad you could be here. So we got to unpack all of the things, getting uncomfortable and changing courses. I need to know all the things, but also being a serial entrepreneur, I know you've got a lot of really good gems and insights that you're going to share. So let's start from the beginning. Let's start from the beginning. So you've built multiple businesses over the past 15 years. What initially sparked your entrepreneurial journey?
Well, Brandy, I like to tell people that you're born an entrepreneur. No disrespect to those who become an entrepreneur or figure their way through entrepreneurial. But I like to say you're born an entrepreneur. So ever since I was a young kid, I was an entrepreneur. So I would say it started when I was 5 or 6 years of age, selling items out of my bedroom window to my friends, selling candy from the candy store, upcharging it, of course, and selling it in school and in high school. So yeah, I've always been an entrepreneur.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So it's always been in your spirit. It's always been something you've done.
Correct.
First business, like this kind of side question, what was your first business? Did you go lemonade stand like everybody else, or were you like, no, I'm gonna do something completely different from y'all. I'm gonna be the different one. Like I got candy.
So I would say selling stuff at school was the first business, selling candy, soda, you name it, selling stuff at school, ice cream, you name it, just selling stuff. That was probably the first business. And then from there, it probably just, gosh, I probably had so many side hustles growing up that I couldn't tell you. We raked leaves, we did snow removal, walked around and hustled and snow removed, things like that. Leaves, cutting grass, you name it. So yeah, I've always been an entrepreneur, always hustled.
Yes, yes. So I love it. I love the hustle, and you knew right from the gate that the hustle was in you. It was just let's hone that in and put something behind it and push it through. I like that. I like that. So in your book,
Exactly.
yes, yes. So in your book, Uncomfortable or Change Course, which I absolutely love that title because
Thank you.
man, for entrepreneurship, I'm only 5 years into it in my 15-year career in PR and comms. And I did not realize, even going to B school in 2018 and getting my MBA, that one, like, and I told somebody this earlier, school is school, right? But it's different when you're actually doing. Okay, very different. So you got to take what you learn, but you actually got to apply that. It's not enough to just be in the classroom.
No.
But being okay with being uncomfortable most of the time, that has been such a game changer for me. So with that being said, you know, with your book, it's all about the realities of entrepreneurship. What
Yes.
inspired you to write it now at this point? And what message do you hope resonates the most with your readers?
So, good question, Brandy. I knew I was going to write a book when I was about 18 years of age. I just knew I had it in me. And, we had a little bit of a rough child life. I should say not we. I had a little bit of a rough child life, nothing out of the normal that, there's a phone ringing. Let me turn that off.
You're
And,
fine.
and so I kind of knew I had a story in me and I kind of knew I wanted to tell my story. I just
Yes.
didn't know what it was going to be about. And really wasn't until the pandemic hit that it actually came to me. And it kind of just came to me, during the 3 months that the whole country was shut down.
Mm,
It kind of
yeah.
just came to me then. But again, like I said, I've been writing it for a whole 18, 20 years. It's been up here in my head. And the reason why I wrote it during that period was we all were uncomfortable. And that's where the title came from. I just kind of woke up. A lot of my titles and a lot of my visions and a lot of my creativity comes when I'm sleeping and I wake up. And so that's where the title Get Uncomfortable or Change Course, because everybody was locked up, we were locked down, and we all were uncomfortable. And that's actually when I started writing the book. It took me about a year and a half to write the book. But again, like I said, the book had been started in my head when I was 18 years of age. So it's just a matter of figuring out exactly what I wanted to write about. And then I went from there.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Yeah. It just is something that I don't think is talked about enough,
Yeah.
about the uncomfortableness that you'll have in entrepreneurship, and you'll have it multiple times. It's this idea, I think, that you reach the mountaintop and then that's it. Everything is great. You got more money, no problems. It's like, what? Like that's not even how the song goes.
No.
Like not at all. You got to
Yep.
be okay with getting uncomfortable. But in that being uncomfortable, what are you going to do with it? And I feel like with your book, it just resonates so much in the sense that it's like, okay, get uncomfortable because it's coming. It's entrepreneurship. That's just the fact of life. But what are you going to do with that? Are you going to change course or are you just going to stay uncomfortable and just stay in this space? You're not making any money. You're not scaling. You're not doing anything. Are you just going to stay in that space?
Exactly.
Because then the alternative is like, you've got to exit
Yes.
and probably pick up a 9 to 5. So I really, really like that title, but I feel like it resonates on that level, just and really speaks to people in a way that I don't think entrepreneurs really have spoken to people like that about being uncomfortable in these spaces.
And that's really what I wanted my book to do. I wanted my book to really just punch somebody in the mouth and give them a
Yeah.
reality check and say, do you really want to leave your 9 to 5? Do you really want to walk down this road? And if you do, you better be prepared. Buckle up. Buckle
Be
up. And
ready.
that's the
Yeah.
only thing I can say is buckle up. And in fact, yesterday I was talking to someone in my bar last night. I was talking to someone who wanted to open up a similar business to mine, a doggy daycare business. And the first thing I said to her was, don't do it. And she looked at me and kind of laughed, and I said, "No, really, don't do it." And then she retired the army, and what I said to her was, "Imagine being in special forces for a year. Imagine being in Buds, Navy SEALs for a year. Can you be that uncomfortable for a year,
Yeah.
7 days a week? And if you can, then just maybe you might want to walk down this road. But if you're not willing to be uncomfortable, if you're not willing to be in buds training or special forces training or rangers training for a year or more, then don't do it." And she kind of looked at me, and I actually punched her in the mouth and gave her a reality check yesterday, which is a wonderful thing. And that's what I'm here for, and that's what I want to do with my book, is give you a wake-up call to make sure you know what you're doing and what you're getting into.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And I know you don't know this, but my husband actually was in the special forces for Navy. So for you to share
Good for him.
that, as soon as you said that, I was like thinking back in my mind when he was going through that period. It was a lot. It was not a joke at
Right.
all, so and I get a little bits and pieces of the story, but I mean being able to hear from other individuals that experience it, like it is a commitment. But it's one of those things that either you're committed, you're all in, or you're not. There's no in between. There's no, I'm going to dip a toe and do a little. No, it's either you're
No.
in or you're out. That's it. And I think
Exactly.
that's the punch in the mouth that people need.
Yes.
Seriously. This isn't no sunshine and butterflies. Like you thought you just going to start an idea, start a
Right.
business, and then, oh, everybody's going to be banging on my door first
Right.
day.
Right.
And
Right.
then you're
Exactly.
looking like there's nobody here. What?
Exactly. Right.
Welcome to entrepreneurship. You got
Yes.
to build a following.
You sure do. And it's hard, let me tell you.
Yeah.
And everybody thinks, oh, I got a million followers on social media, so it's going to be easy. No,
Yep.
it's not.
Yep. It's not. It's
No.
not. And it's one of those things that again, like even with the followers, what's the engagement rate like? What's the CTR,
Yes.
right? How many of those followers are buying?
Yes.
That's what matters because the
Right.
numbers, that's great, but that means nothing in business. Nothing in
Exactly.
business.
Exactly. How much revenue are you making from the million followers?
I'm just saying, and usually the answer is, "Oh,
Right.
you know what?" And I was like, "Okay, you
Right.
know what?
Right.
That's what we're talking about."
Right. It's usually like, well, you know what happened was
That part, exactly.
what had happened.
Yes, yes. But you know what? I think it's forced people and really business owners, I'll say, to really assess, their awareness, but also their outreach for influencers. Because before it was like, let me just get an influencer, they'll do a post or they'll do a video, and that's great. And then they're looking like crazy, like, why didn't it do anything? Well, number one, you already messed up. I don't pay first. I want to see what are your insights. I want to see your analytics. Because I don't
Exactly.
care anything about what oh, well, you see, I've got a million followers. I don't care nothing about that. I want to see what the engagement
Exactly.
rate is. I want to see where they're clicking. how long they're staying. I want all your data. And
Yeah.
if you're selling a product like an advertisement, because that's essentially what it is, I
Yes.
need to see some numbers.
Exactly.
That has changed the course, I promise
It
you,
it
of
sure
so much even of our strategy. Yes.
it
You
sure
gotta
has.
ask.
And let me tell you, I have a wonderful person that I work with, Charlotte Zhang. She's my publicist for my book. She does my social media. Charlotte is amazing. She is on top of it. And that's what you need. Someone that can
Yes.
be on top of it, someone that is in the know. She is in the know. She knows what's going on. She's up to
Mhm.
date with everything. And I just put it all in her hands and let her do her magic because she does a wonderful job. And so that's what you really need is you got to just
Yes.
let it go and put it in someone's hands that really know what they're doing. And then you focus on running your business or you focus on being the entrepreneur, but put it in the hands of a professional. Put it
Mhm.
in the hands of someone who's going to get you to where you want to
Absolutely. Oh, I love that. I love that. So I'm going to probably steal that,
be.
especially as a publicist and as a PR agency owner, because people, you're so right. People think that, these celebrities that they idolize and they see in these public figures, they idolize and revere, that they're just doing this off of their own and off of the muscle. Absolutely
No,
not. Nobody is.
absolutely not.
Even Beyonce. She's
No,
not doing it by herself.
no,
She has
there's
got an
always someone in
incredible
the
team.
background.
Always in the background. So whether
Always.
you're a Beyonce or a small business owner, you need a team because there's no way that you can do everything. You shouldn't want to do everything for
Absolutely
one,
not.
but you got
Absolutely.
to get people on your team that have that same mission and values, but bring something to the table that can add value to what you've got going on. Oh, I love that.
Yes,
Okay.
early on in my career here, I've had friends tell me, "Oh, you shouldn't hire this person. You shouldn't hire that person," and I was dead set against it from day one, just
Yeah.
because of the fact that I knew I wasn't a marketing person. I knew I couldn't do the books. I knew I wasn't a bookkeeper. So what did I do? I spent the money on professionals. You
Yeah.
hire the best to keep you out of trouble, and you hire the best to let them do their job. Sure, it's an investment. Sure, it's a costly investment, but at the same time, so is your business, so is
Yes,
your
it is.
life, so is your career. So if you don't invest in yourself, why would I invest in you? Why would I buy your book? If you don't invest in yourself, why would I use your PR firm? So if
Mhm.
you're not investing in yourself and hiring the best and working with the best, then that means your business isn't going to be anything. And I, from day one, I decided to always have somebody and always make someone do the things that I don't want to do. Now, that doesn't mean I don't know how to do these things. I'm supposed
Yes,
to know how to run my company. And I know
exactly.
every aspect of my company from A to Z.
Yep.
But I hired people and I put it into people's hands that I trust. And that's why I'm here today, 16 years later, with
There you go.
multiple businesses and a book.
There you go. I love that. I love that so much. Okay, so you've overcome major health and financial obstacles while still growing your businesses. What
Yes.
mindset or habits have helped you push you through when most people would have probably just said, you know what, I'm just going to throw in the towel. This is it.
Well, I read a lot of books.
Mhm.
There's this one author that I really love, David Goggins, Special Forces, Navy SEALs, black guy. I'm sure you've heard of him, or your husband has heard of him. And David Goggins is an amazing guy. He uses this phrase called "taking souls." And so in my mind, when I struggle and I'm having a hard day, I sit back and I'm taking souls, and I just have this mentality. I've always had this mentality before I even read David Goggins' book. Um, but I've always had this mentality where it's like you're not gonna hurt me, and that's the name of his book. You can't hurt me, but you're just not gonna hurt me because growing up, it was three boys. I have two
Mhm.
brothers, and there's three of us. And it's like we got into some trouble, and we had our good days and bad days growing up. But the thing is I always I mean, I always figured it out. You know what I mean? I always figured out how to do it, and I was always resourceful. And so I've always been that way. So how did I survive? How am I surviving? Is always constantly being resourceful and thinking about things and being creative, and just figuring it out. I like to say you can throw me in the woods and I'll find my way home just because I'm resourceful. I'll figure it out. So you have to be creative. You have to be a person that's gonna figure things out. And there's going to be some hard days and there's going to be some dark roads, but you're going to have to figure it out. And that's what I've done. I've gone through Mercer. I've had hip replacements. I've had back surgery. I've had rotator cuff surgery, and I've managed to figure it out and keep going. And it's a mindset that you have to have, which is you can't hurt me. You can't stop me. I'm going to figure this out and I'm going to win. And I'm taking souls.
Yes, I love that. Yes. That's the energy you have to have and that mindset that you have to develop to really understand what you're up against and just to push through and persevere. Love that.
Yeah, and
So,
then also I've had people in my past in the 15 years tell me, "Oh, that's not going to work. That's going to fail." And to me, when you tell me something like that, I'm just going to go at it 100 times harder because I want to one day look at you and say, "F you," or "See, I told you I can do it," or go like this to you one day and let you know I did it. And that just
yeah,
gives me power. It just gives me energy when someone says I can't do it. And I'll
yeah.
do it. I'll go to the ends of the earth and I'll do it. And I'll figure it out. And that's why I'm
Mm,
here 15, 16 years later, just because don't tell me I can't do something because I'm going to figure it out and I'm going to do it.
there you go. And just like, hey, I'm going to be that one.
Taking
Okay.
soul.
You see
Taking soul.
me? You didn't bet on me because
That's
you
right.
didn't think I could do it, but here I am, still
That's right.
standing. I
That's
love
right.
that. Yeah.
That's right. Bet on black, baby. Always bet on black.
Bet on it. I'm just saying, I feel that to the 10th degree. Seriously. I've
Amen.
experienced a lot of that same thing that you're talking about is the pushback. And why? Why start something now? Why do that? Why not? Why
In
not
one ear
me?
and out the other. And the
Yeah.
hardest pushback is going to come from family and friends. I say that all
Mm,
the time. My family doesn't like me saying it. They don't like hearing it on podcasts. But the biggest pushback is going to be from
yep.
family and friends. But it's got to go in one ear and out the other because you have a goal, you have a dream, and you're set. And I'm set. I'm going to get there. I'm going to do what it takes. And I'm going to
Yep.
accomplish my goal. I'm going to accomplish my dream no matter how long it takes.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Now, entrepreneurs, they often hear hustle harder, team no sleep, stuff like that. But you talk about strength and heart. How do you balance tenacity with self care, especially after facing those health struggles and the issues that you had going on?
It's tough. It is tough.
Mhm.
And how do I do that and how do I balance it? There are many times or many days that I'm not balanced. But when I'm not balanced, I'll listen to music. I will sit and meditate, look out the window. I like to call it going to the boardroom.
Mm,
Going to the boardroom, as I refer to it in my book, I'll sit somewhere and have a cigar. I'll take a mental break. I'll sit out and listen to a podcast. I'll sit and read a book or listen to a book. And I go to the boardroom. And that's my time to kind of sit back, regroup, regather myself, and just get back at it. I may have a rough day, and I say my prayers at night. I go to bed and I wake up and I thank the Lord first thing in the morning before I put my feet on the ground. I say every single day, thank you. I thank the Lord for today, and I thank the Lord for the many opportunities that are going to come to me today. And that's how I start my day, and that's how I stay on track. I'm not a very religious person, no, but that's how I stay on track. I have a cross that I wear on my chest, and I pray to God thousands of times a day. I sit back and just hold my cross, and I'll pray to God and give me the strength, guide me through this, and I'll figure it out. And oftentimes I sit in a boardroom. I'll pet my dogs. I'll sit in the boardroom. I'll smoke a cigar. I have a bourbon out on the deck, and I'll just sit there in the boardroom and just take a breath, decompress, and just breathe.
mm. Self-care. Self-care and that process for you. It sounds like it's something that is a priority, not just a okay, we'll just do that whenever we got. No, it sounds like you made it a priority and it's made all the difference for you. I think
It
that's
has,
something
but
that's
it wasn't
admirable.
easy. It wasn't
Yeah.
easy, and it hasn't been. It's only been probably the last 3, 4 years or so that I've really focused on this because as I get older, my body is getting, is breaking down on me from all this stress.
Yeah.
It's been about 3 or 4 years that I'm really focusing on trying to do this and focus on the self care. And a big part of that was getting a mentor. I've had a mentor now probably for about 7 years. Uncle Willie is his name. I refer to him in my book. He's more of a friend now, but he's a self-made man. He went through a lot of the struggles that I've gone through and going through, still going through. And I sit and talk to him, and we joke with each other, and I always call him up, and he talks me off the ledge, quote quote the ledge. And so we'll go and have lunch, so he'll call me up, or I'll just call him up and use him as a sounding board. So
Mhm.
that's kind of how I do, self-care and take care of myself is I reach out to those who have been where I want to go, those who have walked in my shoes, and those who understand and can guide me. And that's what I do is I reach out to others that can help me get through the tough days.
Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. The first thing that comes to mind is, that old saying, your network is your net worth. You got to have people around you that are going to uplift you, but also going to challenge you. If
Yeah,
you're the smartest person in the room, I think it was Shaq that said it in a magazine for Fast Company or Inc. He was like, if you're the smartest one, if I'm the smartest one in the room, I got to go. Like there's
exactly.
something wrong. And I'm like,
Exactly.
hey, you said it. Okay. But I feel it.
Exactly.
I feel that it does make sense though. You don't want to be the star of the space. Absolutely not. Those that want just the attention and looking at it from an ego standpoint and getting that stroke, of course, that's what they're after, but that's not what we're after. We're trying to
Yeah.
scale, we're trying to grow. And in order to do that, you've got to put people in your parameter within your space that can help you achieve that. And they've got to be a couple steps ahead for it to make sense. So I really like that a lot, for sure. Okay.
Exactly. And then also another part of that is that you can't be afraid to every 3 years reinvent yourself. And what
Mm,
I mean by that is I've had several successful millionaires here as clients with one of my businesses here tell me over and over again, every 3 years, you need to reinvent yourself. That doesn't mean change your business concept, change everything. No, it just means reinvent yourself, do something different. Because if you become stagnant, then what's going to happen is, and I love using this example, Mike Tyson, the greatest boxer out there, the greatest champion out there, the youngest champion out there, right? Got comfortable. And here's this guy named Buster Douglas, had nothing to lose, nothing to lose.
mm,
And he beat Mike Tyson, the world champion, the youngest world, the baddest dude out there. He beat
that's
him. And he didn't beat him because he was better than Mike Tyson. No, he beat him because Mike Tyson got comfortable. And so when you're in business and if you stay in your business and you stay stagnant, oh yeah, here comes Buster Douglas. So every 3 years you need to reinvent yourself.
Ooh, I like that. Ooh, that's a good example there. I almost forgot about that fight. That was
Exactly. Please don't beat
right.
me up, Mike Tyson. Please don't beat me up. I love you,
I
man. Much respect.
No, but that's dope though. And I feel like in the last couple of years, and then maybe it's just growth and maturity, man. It does so much to us. It does so much for the soul. But getting that wisdom and looking back and being able to say, okay, I didn't handle that situation very well, and I didn't do this the right way, and this now I see what was wrong with that. I
Yes.
feel like he would be totally fine. He'd be like, you know what, you show right. I got too cocky, man. I got the gold toilet seat. I was the biggest and baddest, and I just got too comfortable. So I don't think he'll be mad at you for that. Not one bit. Not one bit.
Well,
Okay,
just don't give him my address and tell him where I'm at.
I promise. You're safe. You're safe with me. I will snitch. Okay, so switching gears because there's a lot going on. I know you read the news and follow legislation and all of that good stuff. So, given the rise of just kind of economic uncertainty, that's the best way I can describe it, and small businesses experiencing closures as of late, what advice would you give entrepreneurs who feel like they're on the brink of like just giving up? Like this is going to be it. The economy is I don't know what's going on. I don't know how we're going to do it. Like, what advice would you give them that are on that brink and on the ledge, as you mentioned before? That it's like, okay, I'm done. There's nothing else I can do.
Well, very good question. Love the question. I would basically encourage them to start looking at different programs that are out there in the government.
Mm,
Well, maybe not anymore, but programs that are out there, grants that are out there. There's a great organization that I use called SCORE, 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 and it's run by as part of the SBA, Small Business Administration. And I would start there. And that's an organization made up of business people, retired people, mentors, people that want to help others succeed. They can give you information leading you towards grants. I would go to your state, look at your state, and go to the website and look for grants that may be in your state. Go to your county, your local county. Again, look for grants and things like that that will be in your local county to assist you. But first, I would start with SBA. SBA is a great organization. That's where I got my first loan. And since then, during the pandemic, I've gotten several different emergency loans, the PPP, the EIDL loan to assist me. So there are a lot of resources out there. You just kind of have to get resourceful and start looking for those things and looking for grants and just thinking outside the box is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Dave Portner during the pandemic. Dave Portner from Barstool had a great program that I benefited from. He's a self-made man, entrepreneur, known as the pizza guy, going around sampling pizzas. Dave Portner had a program where he helped entrepreneurs, and I benefited from that. I received $5,000 a month from Dave Portner to help me. And it was just money that he put out there as an entrepreneur to help other small businesses. So there are a lot of people, a lot of programs, and a lot of grants that are out there. It's just a matter of how resourceful you are to find them.
Oh, 100%, 100%. So then in this instance, so how can they decide whether to get uncomfortable, right, and push through, or just change course and pivot?
Well, pivoting is a big word. I like that word, pivot, is
Yeah.
because you're going to pivot all the time. You're
Mhm.
pivoting every day. I mean, you're just going to have to get resourceful. And I pivot all the time. During the pandemic, I pivoted and gotten a liquor license. And never in my wildest dreams did I ever think I was going to get an alcohol license for my coffee shop. But now I have a bourbon bar, a very successful bourbon bar. I have over 110 different bourbons here. So the thing is you have to decide how much or how long you're willing to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then when you are uncomfortable, I think that's when you're going to do your best thinking. And that's where creativity comes, is when you're uncomfortable, because you're always constantly thinking, how do I get uncomfortable? How do I get uncomfortable? And if you're not thinking, how do I get uncomfortable every single day? Then that's when it's up to you to decide to change course, no one else. And then it's up to you to decide if you're willing to continue to go down that road. It is a dark road. I remember talking to my banker one day in the very beginning, and she just said, Kelvin, are you willing to go the distance? It's a dark road. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. It's just black. There is no light at the end of the tunnel. Are you willing to go the distance? And the answer is yes, I'm willing to go the distance. And another thing I like to tell people is I'm not afraid to fail. I've failed many times in my life. I failed many times in sports. I failed in school. I've failed classes. I'm not afraid to fail. And the biggest thing I say is the worst thing that can ever happen to me is not trying. I'm not afraid of failing. I was homeless for about a year in college because I forgot to get my financial aid. So I was homeless. I slept in my car for a little bit. I slept on friends' couches. I went back and forth to my mom's apartment 45 minutes away. So yeah, I was homeless and didn't have a place to live in college for a year. And it was my mistake, but I was uncomfortable and I was okay with being uncomfortable. So ask yourself, how uncomfortable are you willing to get? And if you're not willing to get uncomfortable, then that's when you decide to change course. I don't think anyone else can do that for you. You have to decide.
Mm, that part. Oh yes, you're dropping the gems today for real. Seriously. Listen, but but it's all things I feel like are so important, so timely, so relevant. And it's the thing that nobody wants to talk about. I keep saying that, but it's true. I see so many of these different self-help and entrepreneur talks and all this other stuff. They don't talk about getting uncomfortable. They just talk about, oh, you've got a great idea, do something with it. Oh, you've got this, do something with it. Well, sometimes maybe you shouldn't do nothing with that and do something with this because it makes sense for the market. It
Right.
meets the demand. So it's like, have the real conversation. That's what people really need. Cause then it'll save almost a lot of headache in the long run, right? When you hone in and you get very specific on what is the thing that we want to do and how are we going to put together the pieces to make that happen. I spoke with in another episode with Larry Namer, which was the co-founder of Entertainment Network. So huge guy in media. And one of the things that he talked about in sharing his story was how he had to quickly understand and recognize that profit over passion. And I was like, okay, break it down, Larry. What you talking about?
Profit
And he
over
said, people always come to me and they're like, hey, how did you know to follow your passion and follow this? He was like, I didn't follow my passion. This is what makes money. If I was
Amen.
passionate, if I was going with
Amen.
my passion, I would be a chef. But
Amen.
then would I have ever made it as a chef if I focus on that? And see, and as he was talking, he was like, would I have ever made it? I mean, there's a possibility, but let's be real. At the time, I wasn't no Emerald. I
Right.
wasn't no Gordon Ramsay.
Right.
Okay. So what he kind of honed it all in and how he explained it. He was like, listen, I was able to find this thing, make it profitable, make it scale, right? And so now, out of all these years that I've worked in this media and entertainment space, now it's crazy how it went full circle because now I get to cook. Now I get to do my passion, but it's paid for.
Right.
That's
Exactly.
different.
Exactly.
Yes.
Profit
Yes.
over passion is so true. Let me tell you, I
Yes.
would be doing some things differently myself, but it's all about the money. It's profit over
Right.
passion. Exactly.
You got
And
to
then the
do
other
it.
thing is opportunity. I have a really
Yes.
good friend of mine. I've known him 40 something plus years, family friend. And he loves to say opportunity doesn't come in a pretty little pink box. That box is ugly. That box has tape on it, masking tape on it. It's got holes on it, it's leaking and things like that. But it's opportunity. You got to be willing and ready for opportunity when it comes knocking. And it's going
Mhm.
to come up one day when you're not even expecting it. And if
Yeah.
you're not ready for it, then there's an opportunity lost. So yeah,
Mhm.
profit over passion, and I want to add to that the ugly box theory.
Mm.
Opportunity and profit doesn't come in a nice little Tiffany's box. It's
Yeah.
ugly.
It is ugly. It is ugly.
Yeah.
Like that. Okay. So the push for local business support has grown significantly,
Yes.
especially in the wake of major corporations just kind of dominating industry.
Yes.
So small business support has really, really grown over the last couple of years. So in your opinion, how can small businesses compete and build that same loyal, connected community like you've done with your ventures? How can small businesses do that to compete?
Focus on community. Start
Mm,
start within your community and focus on community. Get your community together, get your community behind you, and then that's how you're going to go ahead and grow. And the thing is it's not competition. I don't look at it as someone can have a coffee shop and move in directly across the street from me. To me, it's not competition. It's just you
yeah.
welcome to the community, and it's like you guys figure out how to work together. Your coffee may be different than mine. I may serve organic coffee. You may serve dark roast coffee.
Mm,
There's always going to be something that's different, and then figure it out, get creative. you know every 3 years reinvent yourself. So I would say the best way to do that with small businesses and to support small businesses is to get your community together, grow your community, build your community around your business.
mhm. Oh, yes, I like that. I like that a lot. Build your community. That's how you can tap in and start to compete. You're exactly right.
Build your
Okay.
community around you. Once you have a strong community and followers, they'll stay loyal to you. They'll go wherever you go.
There you go. See that's the type of advice that our small business owners seriously really need. Is build your
Yes.
community. Start from scratch, but build a community from then
Yes.
within and it'll grow from there. I love that. Okay, so I'm going to switch gears again and talk more comms, right? So you've turned both wins and failures into teachable moments. How do you think storytelling, especially the raw and honest kind, has impact to your business's brand as well as the credibility?
Hmm. I think people look at me as being normal, being real, being a person, being someone who has passion, drive, integrity. I think they look at me as someone who looks like them in the mirror, and so I think it's it's just a part of who I am. I guess. I mean, it's just I like to be real. I like to be honest. I like to be open. I like to be upfront, and I think that resonates with people. I think they look at you and they say, "You're me," or "I'm you,"
Yeah.
and I think that's how it works. As crazy as it may sound, I mean that's the first thing that comes to mind, and that's honestly the only answer that really comes to mind. And I'm not
Yeah.
even sure if it's an answer, but I think people resonate with me just because they look at me and I'm them. Maybe I'm
Yeah.
the dream that they wanted to do. Maybe I'm the dream that they couldn't do because they have a 9 to 5. Maybe they have a family. I don't know, but I think I just resonate with people
Yeah.
weirdly.
Yeah, yeah, no. No, and that definitely answers that. And the reason why I ask is because I look at it and look at in comparison to other brands too, right? Some of our more popular brands, the ones that have just taken off over the last couple of years, and it's almost like there's this common denominator, and it's that authenticity. people feel like they can connect with you. Just like you said, like they feel like they can connect with you because you're real. That
Yeah,
honest, that very true, just raw approach. You don't see that in a lot of brands, especially with corporate. You definitely don't see that a lot with them. So
yeah,
you're almost seeing kind of the shift even with them because they've seen the value that it has.
yeah,
And now they're starting to get real. Have you seen some of these social media platforms with these
yeah.
brands
Boy,
using?
have I.
Boy, I just look at it and I'm like, okay, look at y'all trying to get hip. I'm like, okay, the corporate facade and saying, listen, we're real people behind here. I like it. It
Yeah,
kind of goes back to what you were saying in terms of the rebrand. You can reinvent, rebrand as much as you want to. And in fact, you should every
sure.
so often because you don't want to get stagnant. So I definitely see and hear exactly what you're saying in that it's that realness that you have. And that's what's impacted the brand that people can connect with you. And that hits on a whole nother level.
It sure does. And, unfortunately, what's going on in the world today in the last several years, I think people are just kind of tired, and, corporate America is just, it's a monopoly from your cell phone service to your cable service to your where you buy your products and these big large it's a monopoly and people are just tired of it and it's like they start looking for smaller brands to support and I forgot what the quote is or the number is but what small business represents what I think 70% of business or whatever the number is and I think people are starting to realize that and starting to focus back on small business and getting the one-on-one customer service because these big corporations I've been having a problem with my cell phone for about 4 months now. And, these big corporations, they can care less. They push it on. We didn't make the phone. We just provide the service. Go to the person who made the phone. And they push you from one person to the next, to the next, to the next. And I think people are kind of done with that nowadays. And I think people are looking for something better. And I think people really want to get back to Americans supporting Americans and
Mm.
us just trying to live together as one and peaceful. And I really think that's the thing, what's happening right now, why small businesses are finding a big push for people to support small businesses is because of that. We're kind of tired. We're done. It's like this.
Mm. I know that's right. No. Yeah, and you're spot on. You're spot on with that because that has been the shift. People are tired. People are tired and they want that authenticity and your brand amongst others are some of the ones that they see as like, listen, this resonates with me. I'm bought in. I want to see what do you have? What do you have going on and how can I support? Like that's what it's about. I love that.
Yeah.
So, you run the seminar, Set Up Your Business for Success, an online course that's based on your book. So,
Yes.
what communication strategies do you use to ensure that your message lands and it motivates entrepreneurs to start taking action? Kind of what we've mentioned throughout this conversation.
Well, I'm gonna throw that over to my publicist, Charlotte Zhang. Charlotte is really good. So when
Mm.
I have thoughts and ideas and comments and how to communicate, I reach out to her. I put it in her hands. I kind of throw the ideas out there and start putting them out there and what I want to say and how I want to communicate, and I let her work her magic. So that's
Mm.
me trusting in someone else to do what I can't do. Yes, I said that. I can't do. I put it in the hands of someone else. So
Mm.
that's what I do, and that's how I communicate. Is I communicate through someone who knows what they're talking
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. And I've said that many times in this conversation. You are essentially our poster child because it is so important for people to be aware. Just you've got to let people do their job. And
about.
if they're better at it than you, that's a good thing. It's
Yeah,
not
right.
to compete, it's a good thing because then
It's a
that
good thing.
person's on your team. You want
Yeah,
that.
humble yourself. You got to be
Yes.
humble. Being an entrepreneur is being humble.
Yeah.
It's not about being, the biggest person in the room, handing your business card out, walking around with an ego. No, me, I like to be the person who's quiet and reserved. When I go places, I don't tell people that I'm a business owner. I don't brag about stuff. I don't. That's
Mhm.
just not me. That's not who I am. I like to consider myself a very humble person, and you have to be able to humiliate yourself and let someone else run your business, not run your business, but let someone
Yeah.
else tell you what to do in your business. I listen to my CPA. I love telling my CPA she's the boss and I listen to her. Of course, she doesn't like hearing that, but I tell her, I said, no, you're the CPA. You protect me. Your job is to protect me. You're my boss. I tell Charlotte all the time. I'm like, Charlotte, I'll go with whatever you suggest because this is your profession. You know more than I. Just because I'm a business owner doesn't mean I know better than you. No, I
Yeah.
hire you because you're the best.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about, and that's what it's about. All right, let's talk about your legacy. All right, before we wrap up today. So your mantra is learn, earn, return. How do you stay committed to giving back, and what's one piece of advice you wish someone had told you when you were just getting started?
How do I stay committed? It's the passion. It's because I want to help people and prevent them from going through the mistakes that I had to go through. Prevent them
Yeah.
from losing the money that I had to go through. Um, I want to be that mentor for them that I wish I had in the very beginning. So things I would do differently is from the very beginning I would get a mentor. From the very beginning I'd get a mentor. So learn, earn, return is about me giving back, me helping those. And I get tired of hearing, I don't have the money to start a business. I don't have the money for this. I don't have the education for this. Well, I don't have a master's degree. I never started a business. I went to the bank. It took me almost 2 years to create a business plan, but I had help with SCORE, Small Business Administration, and
Mm-hmm.
I figured it out along the way. And there were a lot of hurdles and a lot of bumps along the way, and that's why I'm all about return. And that's how I stay focused. Is return is because I don't want people to go through what I went through. I don't want people to have the heartaches that I had to go through. I don't want that. And if I can help them out now, that's what I'm here for. Like I was telling the girl yesterday I was speaking to yesterday. She retired from the Army. She wanted to start a business with a friend. And I'm like, hey, have you ever heard you never go in business with friends and family? And she says, yes. And I'm like, well, it's true. Believe it. You never go in business with friends and family because unless you're willing to lose a friend, lose a family member, don't do it because
No.
expectations are different. You have to make sure everybody's on the same page. You have to make sure everybody's willing to do the same work and work the long hours that you're willing to work. And that's what
Mhm.
it's about. And so my return is letting everybody know, hey, you better make sure this is what you want to do. I'm going to help you, but you better make sure this is what you want to do because it's a long road.
Mhm. Yes, yes. Okay, so what's next for you? And
Well,
are there any new projects, courses, or community initiatives on the horizon?
always something on the horizon with me. I'm always creating something. Look, I got 3 businesses up here that I'm just waiting to get. I wish I can duplicate myself and clone myself, right? But
Yes.
I finished my second book. I can't tell you the name of it because it's underneath
Okay.
a pseudo name. But I
Okay.
finished my second book. I'm in the process of editing it. So I would probably say, hopefully by the end of this year, I'm going to release it underneath a pseudo name. That's a long story. That's another podcast. Um, Business. I have another business that I started during the pandemic, but because of the pandemic, it kind of exploded. But I'm ready to kind of go in that direction with that business now. I'm just looking for a partner because I got 4 businesses now. I got a book. I just can't do it all. Charlotte keeps me busy. I got to tell that woman to slow down because that woman keeps me busy. So I don't have enough time to think of anything else. But yeah, I'm always doing stuff. Um, right now, I'm working on trying to build a downtown community here. We're in what's called an unincorporated area here, and so we
Mm,
don't have our own like township and all of that stuff. And so I'm trying to build a downtown corporation here where we can get signs and get people to start recognizing that we're downtown because we also are in the country, in the isolated area. We're one of the richest locations here in Maryland, but it is kind of isolated. So I'm in the process of trying to do that. Um, Talking to the landlord. Landlord's got a big project that he wants to do that I want to be a part of, which is going to be several $1 million project that I want to be a part of. I've been
yeah.
here for almost 16, 17 years. And so, yeah, I got my hands in it. So I'm in just about everything, Brandy. Let me tell you. My friends tell me, hey, man, you start one project and go to the next. I'm like, that's what I'm supposed to do, right?
You're a serial entrepreneur. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. You're not stationed to one thing. No, you got your
No.
hands in multiple pots. That's what it's about. Obviously.
Amen. That's it.
Yes.
My dad used to say this to me years ago: is you pick up a pot of spaghetti or a bowl of spaghetti, throw it against the wall. If it sticks, great. If it doesn't, pick that damn pot up again and throw that plate against the wall. And that's me. I tell you, I can't. There are times I can't sleep at night because all these ideas pop in my head, and I get up and I start
Mhm.
writing them down. I start writing them down. So that's just me. I don't know. I just love being creative and coming up with stuff. Half the stuff doesn't end up coming to fruition, but the other stuff is good. It's good. So I write it down. Maybe I'll start selling my ideas one day.
I'm just saying that might be the next hustle.
Right, right. It could be Kelvin's Shark Tank. I can have my own Shark Tank.
Right, right.
Just
I
sell
like
my
it.
own ideals to people.
Yes. No, I think I like that a lot. That would be dope. Okay, I'm
Okay.
here for it. Well,
You and I
this
can
is,
be the moderator. How about that?
I'm just saying, hey, remember your girl. I'd love to
That's
do
right.
that. That sounds like fun. Well, you know what? I'm going to be in Maryland in a couple months, so I'm definitely going to have to come check you out and
We
check
do
out
that.
your amazing bar. And because I am a fan of a good bourbon now,
Well, if
I
you are, have you ever heard of a brand called Uncle Nearest?
yes, yes, I'm from
Okay.
Nashville.
Okay,
Yes,
that's what I'm saying, girl. We feature Uncle Nearest here. I love Uncle Nearest. I bought a barrel from Uncle Nearest. Oh, I
yes.
met Keith Weaver down there in Tennessee. I met Victoria Edie Butler in DC. The only one
Oh,
I need to meet is Fawn Weaver. And then
there
I'm
you go.
all set.
Okay, so I might have a little connection in there. So offline, okay, let's
That's
link
what I'm
up.
saying.
Yes,
You got
I
it.
have
That's
the
what I'm
connection
saying.
to Fawn.
Hook
Yes,
it
yes.
up, girl. Hook it up.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna hook it up for sure. I'm gonna definitely hook it up because with my work with Forbes, oh yeah, say
Oh,
less.
yeah, girl.
Talk like
Hook
that.
it up. Look, I
Oh,
got pictures. I got pictures on the wall here. I'll show
oh,
you.
I love
Look,
it.
there's Edie Butler.
Nice.
Yep. And then right up top here, I don't know if you can see it, there's Keith Weaver.
Oh wow, that's incredible. Oh, I love it. Okay, and bourbon flights, that's what I'm talking about. So
Yeah.
definitely I'll have to stop by and see you when I get on that trip.
That's right.
Absolutely.
And the
Well,
first
Kevin, this
drink
has
is
been
on me. First drink is on me. And it's going to be Uncle Nearest.
I know that's right. I'm looking forward to it. Well, Kelvin, this has been such a great conversation. I have really, really enjoyed just hearing your story and just your process, your challenges, and just
Thank
what you're doing. I think it is so, so needed right now for small business owners, entrepreneurs, startups, you name it, that just need that punch in the mouth. Like
thank you.
stop playing, stop farting around, just do it
That's
and do
right. Just
something
do
with
it.
it. So I love this. I love this. So we're definitely going to be sharing, of course, the link to your book and all of that good stuff after this. And oh yeah, plug it
There it
in there
is.
too.
Get uncomfortable or change course.
I love it. I love it. So we'll definitely be pushing it and getting copies of our own too, just to support. Now, before we
Thank you.
wrap, yeah, how can we follow you? How can we follow you?
Oh,
Where can we follow you?
website is kelvinabrams.com.
Ooh,
That's KELVIN Abrams, ABRAMS.com. I'm on social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Kelvin Abrams, K9 and Coffee, Tiki's Playhouse. Those are all the names of some of my businesses, American Fitness Express. So I have a gym. So yeah,
love it.
kelvinabrams.com.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Well, this has been an incredible episode of the Branding PR podcast. We will see you all next week. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you so
very much
much,
for having
Kelvin.
me. I
And I will
really
see you in a
appreciate it.
couple months.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I'm going to hold you to it.
Yes, yes, please do. I'm excited. This is going to be awesome.
Yes, it will.
All right. You have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.